Hello, my beautiful friends. So good to be with you today, as always. It's a blessing. I love it. So today we're going to talk about getting high on your own life, your life, or as Wim Hof would say, getting high on your own supply. I wish I could really do his voice. He has an awesome voice. When I think about getting high on my own supply, my mind kind of turns around the other way first. And it's for most of us, or many of us, we actually struggle within our own minds. We compete with our own mind, and we have a really hard time putting aside our doubts and the noise that goes inside of our head to where we're struggling with life instead of kind of living in sync with it and going with the flow, if you will, in a good way. And I have some thoughts and a couple suggestions on how we can kind of get in the river of life and kind of float along with it. And I'm not saying that it's easy and you don't have to paddle and that they're not struggles, but we can make things much easier on ourselves, because many people I know are confused. Life is just swinging by. You grow up and then you're in college, or you get a job and then you find a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is, and then you get married and you have kids, and you're just kind of swept along by the thing. And often people don't wake up until they're midlife, and that's the midlife crisis, so to speak, where you don't know what you have been doing all your life and you reassess things. A lot of people panic. So when you're young, whether you're young or whether you're old, even especially now where society changes so fast that we don't really, our minds I don't think are really good at the speed at which, many minds are not really good at the speed at which things change. It feels unstable to many people, and they're afraid to make commitments because it changes so fast, or they've made a mistake in the past, or they went to college and got a degree they're never going to use, and now they're making coffee at a coffee shop, which is great. I have no problem making coffee at a coffee shop if that's what you want to do and you're okay with it, and that's great. So there's kind of a poem, or it's really just a paragraph that I'd like to share with you. We are like lovely flowers reaching with enthusiasm to the sky. In this creation, we gather our goodness and our strength. Smiling at the sun, we accept this radiating warmth and light. By these gifts, we gain energy, confidence. Taking these blessings, we commune with our nature, with our friends, together building a future that blesses us all. We are satisfied in this, for this is our destiny. Do you feel that way? I hope you do sometimes. I mean, my days and my weeks are about the same. There are peaks and valleys throughout the day. There are peaks and valleys throughout the weeks and without the years. But I'm grateful to say that there are more good times than bad, many more. And I'm very grateful these days, especially. It's often said, especially by older people, and it used to be a saying, that when you finally get to middle age, you start looking back at life, and you start feeling like, well, what have I done? Or what am I going to be known for? What's going to be written on my gravestone? What's going to be written in the newspaper, which I don't even know if that's done anymore. Probably is, I would assume. And whatever you've accomplished in your life will be left behind. You'll go. Your body will go. I don't want to talk about where the spirit goes. We can talk about that another time. Who knows? But what's going to be left behind? As you get older, what is going to add to the peace of your life, or what is going to take away from the peace of your life? When I finally got married at the age of 27 and then had kids within 2 years after that, I decided, and was important to me, that I wanted to have as much time with my children as possible. And that was one of the things that I knew in my heart that I wanted, and it was worth it to me to sacrifice many things to be able to do that. Unfortunately, just being with your kids doesn't make you a good parent, and I was not always a good parent many times, so I wish I could have been a better person with that time. That being said, I love my kids dearly, and I know that they are confident that they were loved by their father, adored, treasured, all the best adjectives I could actually conjure up, even at times where my behavior maybe didn't show that. That decision early on helped me set the tone for my life. And the other decision I had early on, very early, when I was as little as 9 or 11, maybe at the latest, I was entrepreneurial. I liked mowing. I didn't like it, but I mowed lawns, cleaned gutters, washed cars, chopped trees, did whatever it took at a very young age so I could make a little money and go buy candy is what I did at the time, and maybe buy some parts to make a wagon to roll down the hill that would fall apart before we got anywhere. But, we had a lot of fun with that. But those simple decisions, and again, I'll state that as an entrepreneur, I never succeeded. I never made big money. Never was known for, well, I had a good reputation for most people anyway, 98% of the people, but I never made money. I did make enough to survive, which I'm grateful for, and that's okay. But because I made those two decisions and followed my feelings in those areas, even though it might have been wiser to go to work for the government, and now at 60 years old, I would have the full retirement and all the stuff that they offered back in the day, which I don't think they even offer as well today as they did then. Making those decisions and putting time into each one of those things, my children and my entrepreneurialism, which allowed me to spend time with my children in between other things that I was doing, whether it was extracurricular music lessons or whatever, being able to be remote at a time when remote working wasn't as popular as it is now. So when I look back at my life, I have very few regrets. Am I disappointed that I wasn't successful as an entrepreneur? Yes. Would I like to leave more money, whatever, things to my kids and be known for being, whatever? Yeah, that would be fine. Would I like to, with the time that I spent with my children, been a better father? Would that have been better? Yes. But if I knew I was going to die today, I don't have any regrets. I screwed up many things, and those things I'm regretful for. But as far as the tenor of my life, I'm happy with what I did. If I had to do it all over again, would I change things? Oh yeah, much wiser than I was back then. But would I change the basic output of my life or the destiny or wherever I headed? Probably not. I liked my life for the most part. It's very stressful sometimes, and as the famous entrepreneur said recently, sometimes going to work is like chewing on glass. Yeah, sometimes life is like chewing on glass. But making those decisions early, again, gave me the peace of mind that I was heading in the direction I wanted to go. To those that are confused, or maybe at a crossroads, the question comes up, well then what do I do if I don't know what to do? What if I do if I'm scared? I can't get in a relationship because I was abused as a child, unfortunately, or had 2 or 3 bad relationships in a row where I was with controlling people, or the myriad of things that can make somebody insecure about their future. So what do you do? Well, I don't have the answer, but I have a suggestion to help you think about it. Look back at your life and categorize, write down, or type in, whatever you do, the things that you look back on fondly. What are those things? Was it being with your friends? Was it trekking up the trail by yourself? Was it whatever it was, whatever made you happy? Write those things down. When it comes to work, what gave you satisfaction? If you can figure out what gave you satisfaction and what about it gave you satisfaction, was it working with people? Was it accomplishment? Was it adoration or encouragement? What is it that made you feel good about it? Being an entrepreneur, the reason I did it is because I had pretty good autonomy. You don't really have autonomy, you work for everybody, but you do have autonomy, a much higher level of it. And I, because of insecurities and things, I don't like somebody judging me and saying you did good, you did bad all day long. It feels oppressive. So being an entrepreneur works for me. Being a loving father with my children works for me because I like what I get back from it and I like to give to them. There's no thing that's more fun in life. And then, another thing is I had hobbies that I've liked that I've always done throughout my life. Things I'm horrible at. I love music and I've always done some music throughout my whole life, but I'm terrible at it. I was born without a musical bone in my body, but through much work, I can play the guitar and sing with it. It is what it is. I enjoy it, and that's why I do it. I don't do it necessarily for other people, for sure, but I enjoy it. Making these decisions like, oh, I don't know what to do for work and I'm working making coffee, but I want to do something different. I don't know what to do. Find something that's basic and start going that way. If you like photography, get a hold of a camera. Even if you have to borrow one, start taking pictures, even if it's at night or in the morning if you work at a coffee shop, whatever it is, and give some time to it and let it go. And eventually it may lead to something else, and you might start editing on the computer and you like editing all of a sudden, or whatever it is. Go with your feeling to where if you look back, you'll be okay with the decision you made. Go with your spirit, if you will, if I can say, of what and who you are as a person. There are people that are driven by security and consistency, and they make good employees. I mean, they can do everything, but I'm just saying they're comfortable in an environment that's stable. And the difficult times we live in now, it's hard to find those kind of things. So try to decide what your personality type is and start heading that way. Your path may change, and that's okay, but you have to start a direction. And believe it or not, I believe that indecision can be okay too, as long as you know what you're doing. And that feeds back into what I think is probably the most rudimentary rule of life is honesty. And it's a very difficult thing for humans to be honest for many, many reasons, especially if you've had any kind of a difficult childhood. You have defenses and things that just says, if I'm honest, it's just not going to go well. We are self-protect ourselves. Though we don't have to make a lot of money to survive, if that's not important to you, or if it's kind of you want to go in a field where it's difficult to make money, you can make money doing almost anything. If you can learn how to monetize it, and that's a good thing, and you'll have more money for yourself. You buy more products with salespeople, and then you'll have money to help people that are in need themselves. But you have to put a little thinking into it. How can I monetize this gift of mine? Whether it's a musical gift, many musicians, very few make much money. So you have to be a little bit wise about it if you want to make money and follow your passion. But that's okay. It can be done. But again, this is about kind of peace of mind as you go through life. You're scared about taking a new direction. You're afraid of all these things. You've got to let go. You got to do the breathe and go, what is a good direction for me to go? What feels good with me? And then, of course, sometimes you just have to get down and push for a while and do something you don't want to do so you can facilitate something you do want to do. And that's okay. As long as you're honest with yourself, you know where you're going, you can work 2 jobs while you're starting your side hustle or whatever it is you want to do. Nobody, unfortunately, is likely to come and rescue or just give you a career. Life is a little difficult. And like I said, up and down, it's okay. As long as you're honest with yourself and you're heading the direction you want to go. And that may be taking a break. As long as you can feed yourself, that's okay too, right? All right. Anyway, I hope this is encouraging to you. Follow your dreams. Start wherever it is you're starting. Put some time and energy into it. It will pay off. Don't let the voice in your head stop you from where you want to go. It's all it does. It seems like sometimes just blah, 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 blah. Just ignore it. Do what you need to do. Find some friends. Find a community that does what you want to do and start heading that direction. All right. Great being with you. God bless you. See you guys soon. All right. All the love, all the power.